The Brothers Karamazov, Book 8, Chapter 4. Book 8 is, again, Dimitri's not-so-excellent adventure. Chapter 1, he had tried to track down money from Samsonov to win Grushenka. Chapter 2, he had tried to go out to the middle of a forest to talk to a sleeping, strange, dullard, drunk man to track down the money. Chapter 3, he had gone to Madame Holokov's house to try to get the money. If you look back already at those three options, they're hilarious and laughable. The first one was a former romantic interest of Grushenka's. He would be probably one of the last people that would help Dimitri out. The second guy is so drunk that you can't even rouse him. And the third person is someone who doesn't like Dimitri and his friends with Katerina Ivanova. So as you look back, Dimitri's decisions are just laughable. If they weren't so sad, they would be highly comedic. And so now, by process of elimination, because Dimitri has been running around like a crazy person, he knows all the places Grushenka isn't, and so by process of elimination, he's really only has one place left where she could possibly be in his mind, according to his screwed up logic. She's got to be at Fyodor's, and I did not mention in the last chapter, he's learned of Smirdiakov's quote-unquote, air quotes, accident, and so he knows that his spy isn't there. So by process of elimination, he thinks that Grushenka must be at his father's. And furthermore, he knows that his lookout at his father's is not on duty. And so he goes, and I think I grinned the second time I read this book as I read how Dimitri enters his father's house. He finds the spot that, as legend would have it, that stinking Lizaveta had shown her vertical leap to get over the fence. And I thought, does the narrator even have to tell us that someone jumped over the fence and went in the backyard of Fyodor's? Has anyone ever gone in the front door of Fyodor's house? And so here is Dimitri. Everyone seems to be sneaking in the servants' quarters, the neighbor's wall, the back road, at Fyodor's house. Everyone is up to some nefarious purpose in this book. I don't think anybody ever just walks in the front door of the house. But anyway, here's Dimitri, and his heart is pounding, and he's wondering if anyone hears him, and he even thinks that this is suspiciously quiet. And why does he think that? Well, he knows that Grigory and his wife are on a sleeping pill, a drug. He knows the status of Smirdiakov, and so he thinks that it's almost spooky. It's almost planned that nobody will hear him. And then he looks in at his pops, his father, and he seems like he's dressed like Hugh Hefner. He has a silky garment on, and he's drinking brandy, and there's little fancy boy tassels. And he really is dressed for a night of romance. And Dimitri looks at that, and he says, Grushenka must be on the other side of that screen. She must be asleep already. No, she's not there. No, yes, she is. I just can't see her. No, she's not there. He wouldn't be making that face. And so Dimitri goes back and forth between whether Grushenka is there or not, and it's killing him. The anticipation is absolutely killing him. And so then Dimitri thinks, well, there's a way I can tell. I'll give the signal. I'll give the signal and see how my father reacts. And so he gives the signal. Remember that Smirdiakov had already confessed that he and he alone had given Dimitri. And so now Dimitri does the signal, and Fyodor looks out, and Dimitri's not stupid, so he figures out there's no way Fyodor would look out the window if Grushenka was inside, so obviously she must not be in there. But Dimitri sits there, and he just thinks about, man, I hate that guy. Look at his stupid nose, look at his stupid face. I could really kill him. He's just a terrible person. And he even thinks back to what he said to Alyosha, that if just the time is right, I easily could kill the man. Remember, he's standing there he's sitting there, crouching there, holding a pestle. And then, especially if you're just trying to read this book real quickly for a class, you don't notice something that I've even looked at the Russian commentary on the text, and there's something like our semicolon there. And so there is an obvious, in Russian, grammatical break there in the sentence to try to leave some doubt. Now, it's hard to notice a detail when the detail is sort of what isn't there rather than what is there. And so to try to be more clear here, but also try not to spoil the entire book. The narrator wants to leave open, to leave mysterious for some time here, the guilt of Fyodor's murder. And so all we know is that internally, Dimitri has the internal ability to kill his father. And then he has the external ability. He's in the dark, and he with his hatred in his heart for his father, also has the ability to kill his father. And so the sentence sort of just trails off. There's a semicolon and a subject is slightly changed. And so I can't think of a more simple way to say than there's just a sharp break. And so we don't know the exact next thing to happen. We don't know in this chapter. Does Dimitri kill his father, or are we trying to be led to think that Dimitri had the time and the motivation to kill his father, but didn't actually kill his father? So to put it simply, there's an element of mystery in this chapter that you might miss if you're just reading it through for the first time and reading it quickly, of exactly what Dimitri doesn't do. And the reason you miss that is because almost immediately then the scene switches to Grigory, and he knows that Smerdyakov had a injury falling down the staircase there. And so even though he's taking this drug to help him sleep, Grigory, being the ever dutiful servant, is worried about the estate. He's worried about Fyodor, and so he gets up and he knows that a gate is unlocked. And as he gets up in the night and sees that the gate is unlocked, he also sees a person. And so he runs after, chases, and finally apprehends the person, grabs Dimitri's leg as he's trying to scale the wall. And if you remember, way back in book 1, remember Grigory, when Dimitri and Alyosha and Ivan were all just little tiny babies and toddlers, that this man raised him. I mean, this is almost a father figure to all the boys, certainly to Dimitri. And here he is apprehending him over the cover of darkness, and Dimitri returns that favor by cracking his skull with that pastille still in his hand. And so here lies Grigory, blood gushing out of his head, on the ground, unconscious, and here's Dimitri. Pastille in his hand, blood on his hand, blood on his shirt, and he had no money. He's already gone to the pawn shop in the previous chapter just to be able to get around and to find Grushenka. Other than that, he has no money to speak of. And now here he is, penniless, leaving his father's estate with a murder weapon, potentially, and the guilty look of a man smeared in somebody's blood. And so what does he do? What does the not clear-thinking Dimitri do? Well, he goes back to Grushenka's house only to have another servant say, listen, she's not here, she's gone. She's gone with the Polish officer, the one you weren't worried about at all, the one that treated her badly and haven't heard from him in 5 years and wasn't even sure that he was going to come visit. Yeah, that one. The one that you completely were misdirected by all this anger and loathing and worry and anxiety about your father. She was never interested in your father. She's off with this other guy, and you've missed your chance, and you missed your chance big time by obsessing about her being with your father. You missed what was right here in front of you. And so here is Dimitri completely looking the part of a patricidal son, a son who has just killed his father.